Right. Hello. Thought I'd get back onto the YouTubes. Bought a new camera. It's a Sony ZV-1F, whatever. Anyway, it is currently the 1st of February, 2023. It's like around sort of 9 o'clock at the minute. Took a little bit longer to get going this morning. But I've just done my check-in. And currently 105.6 kilos this morning. And having just done my check-in shots, I'm very happy with that 105.6, to be honest. Things are going very, very well, and we look to be in a very good spot to start prep soon-ish. For now, I think it will be a couple more weeks of like full-blown off-season, and then we will do like a pre-prep phase, which is basically where you just take out your off-plan or cheat meals, whatever you want to call them, and sort of focus your mind into prep. I feel in a good spot mentally to start prep as well. I'm not like craving anything or anything like that, and I'm also not feeling stuffed. I'm not like, oh, I'm dying to start prep. I'm excited to start prep because of how I'm looking and wanting to do well and being in the position I'm in where I haven't got a full-time job anymore, which means I can focus on this. Well, I've got my full-time job is coaching. I mean, I haven't got a corporate job anymore. So, yeah, very, very happy and looking to crack on. So, check-in wise, everything I do is written in this book. So that's going to cover, obviously, like, I also write my workouts in here, but I don't put them in the check-in because that would take fucking forever. I write my drugs in here, obviously my workouts, blood pressure, blood glucose level, and then generally, the tracker itself. I have my food, which is a macros basis, but obviously, I've had Vicky look over my meal plan anyway, and she's sort of all good with it. So that's how we do things. Obviously, like I have a certain level of knowledge, or had a certain level of knowledge when it came to food, because I've always worked on a macro basis. But ever since being with Vicky, she has definitely opened my eyes to the importance of solid nutrition and not just eating everything and anything in order to get, food in, get carbs in, whatever. But even just down to like using the correct vegetables that aren't going to upset your gut. So getting various fruits in, or certain things that are going to benefit my health, like antioxidants and that sort of stuff, especially when I'm using the anabolic steroids. So there's a whole other world out there to nutrition, and there is a reason why certain things are eaten, which maybe a lot of people don't understand, or it's just not really covered, especially in the bodybuilding sense of things. A lot of the time the focus is just on how much food you can eat, and whilst that is sort of that is a priority, what gets missed out a lot of the time is gut health, which is so important in order to keep it an off-season going. Like, I'm eating 740 grams of carbs a day on a leg day, and it's a piece of piss. It's really fucking easy because I'm eating a variety of meals and lots of things that are going to digest really, really well. So, I had a good idea of what was before, but, it's just considerations like stuff like not eating too much fibre or getting enough fibre. And, not having, especially when you get into the higher end of things, if you get lazy with food, you're just going to end up eating off plans all the time and eating pizzas because they fit your macros. Well, funnily enough, eating that sort of food is just really bad for your digestion. And then you're going to struggle to eat on plan properly, and then it's just going to compound and get further and further. You kick that can further and further down the road. Your body composition will get worse, and then you'll be in a much worse position than you would if you'd managed to eat more cleanly and had better digestion. So it is a big focus. One interesting thing about Vicky's coaching is that I've not had before is like there's an actual weekly check-in page which runs through how I'm feeling, which from maybe a normal coaching perspective isn't, or a previous coaching perspective. I don't know how things have updated with other coaches as of late, but that whole sort of like how you are doing, how you are feeling consideration wasn't really a thing a few years ago, even 6 months ago. So it's definitely something which has sort of opened my eyes to the fact that being a coach isn't just about tracking somebody's body weight. It isn't just about fucking trying to get them peeled, even though that is obviously a part of it, especially when it comes to bodybuilding. But there are numerous components to this sort of stuff, and everything's got to be taken into consideration, especially how the athlete is feeling. If you're just telling somebody to do more cardio and eat less food, that's just dieting. That's not coaching. That's just pushing people and not appropriately taking into account where they're at. It's a whole different approach, which I'm much more happy with, rather than just being told to take more drugs, do more cardio, and fucking get on with it. Because as somebody that does fucking get on with it, when you're genuinely struggling, not a good thing just to be told to do more. Because you're like, I'm trying my best. But yeah, fill this out, and then hopefully we get a response in time before I go to the gym, which is incredible in itself, because I'll be going to the gym in like an hour and a half, 2 hours. So haven't eaten yet. I'll show you what food I'm going to eat. Alrighty. Anyway, first things first, right? Hydromax and glutathione. So liver support, and then obviously hydration. I'd normally have Digest Max as well with this, but I've run out. I'm waiting on my order from GYMBEAST, which will be coming very soon. So I usually have this every single morning, just in order to stay consistent and keep it going. I'll have that before I eat. Food-wise, so cream of rice, 200 grams of cream of rice. So there you go, 200 grams right there. I've already boiled me kettle, so this is how you do it. So it's 200 grams in there. In terms of how much water you add, I go for 3.5 times the amount of cream of rice as water, so 700 grams or milliliters of water in here. Then what you're going to do is you're going to get a fork. You're going to give it a good stir. I think a lot of people, I certainly was, are dissuaded from using cream of rice because it's just weird. It's not like something that you would have encountered when you were younger, like oats. You know, people make porridge all the time, but nobody's like, ooh, have you got some cream of rice? Because that's fucking weird. But the reason why we use it is because it's obviously a very clean carb source in the sense that it is basically just carbs. Whereas other stuff like oats is high in fat, high in protein. This is literally, I mean, if you look at the back panel, there's like per 100 grams, there's 6.5 grams of protein and 77 grams of carbs, of which our sugar is basically fuck all, and there's fuck all fat in it as well. So it is almost entirely carbs, which is really good if you're looking to get a lot of carbs in, or if you're also on prep and you're looking to you know, really get a number of different flavors in your meals, and also just separate. If you're on super low fat, you know, it's very useful. So really good product, would recommend. And then what I'm going to do is add 30 grams of whey protein. Now I'm going to do something you'll probably find a bit weird. Pink Himalayan salt, 4 grams of salt in this. Now, I'm doing 4 grams because this is pre-workout. Then you just work all this through. And obviously, as it's blueberries, it's fucking blue. Anyway, we're now going to completely change the colour of this. And bang, 20 grams, or 2 squares, of dark chocolate in there. This is the 90% Lindt one. Just because we want the most chocolatey chocolate we can get. And obviously some people are like, oh, it's so bitter. In terms of its benefits, the more actual chocolate you can get rather than milk, the more antioxidant we're going to get, which for me, being on the juicy juice, it's a very good thing. Now for finishing touches, 100 grams of raspberries. Not that there is 100 grams here, there's only 52. I don't have any more, so it's fine. I'll just replace the rest with blueberries. So I would normally do 100 grams of blueberries, but let's just do 150. Fill up to 200 grams of berries total. Not that raspberries and blueberries are completely interchangeable, but I'll just change it around on MyFitnessPal so that I'm getting the correct amount of carbs in there. Obviously you can use a bit more dense fruit like banana. It's not that much more dense, to be honest, and I find blueberries very easy to eat. Raspberries are a bit less dense in terms of their carbohydrate content than blueberries, but it's just for a different taste, isn't it? You don't want to get that taste fatigue. This is meal 1, so there we go. It's pretty fucking large, it's pretty heavy, but it digests really fucking well, and it's very, very easy to eat, and it's super duper tasty. So there you go, meal 1, done. See you in a bit. Right, checking back from Vicky. I sent them over at 10. I got a response at 24 minutes past 10. So that's how good the response times are.
Good morning, matey. I hope that you are well, and thank you for the overview of your week. It was delightful to see you the other day, and obviously have a solid leg session. And now that we have got your booty scooping the way that it should be doing, honestly, these shots are actually fucking phenomenal today. Yes, you are like a big hairy grizzly, but this is my favourite. This is my favourite shot. This is
my crucifix.
Fucking beautiful. I really, really, really love it, mate. Honestly, you are in such a good place, and obviously seeing you in person highlighted all of these kind of things as well. Your posing and your flow is beautiful. You've got excellent serratus. You've got really good density into your lats. Everything is working superbly. I'm in a really, really, really happy mood. And you are in an excellent place. And so you should. You know how you were saying that you're really happy with these photos? So you should be really fucking happy with these photos. You know, you are looking absolutely incredible. Digestion is in a good spot. You're sleeping like a baby. Your recovery is excellent. Training has been so much better since your deload as well, and obviously having a session with your tiny titan, which is always a nice thing. I'm going to make a slight change. I do want to keep your food where it is because, again, I don't want to kind of overload your gut. I was actually thinking about just increasing your training day just a tiny, tiny bit, and just increasing your leg day as well as your rest day. But then the rest day, I do actually think is going to be much better for you to actually keep where it is, just to allow that gut reset just a little bit. Actually,
710 carb.
And then 760 on your leg days. We are still going to keep this one here in terms of your rest day. We are going to be pushing this for the next 3 weeks. This is the next 3 weeks in accordance to plan, but you are getting really, really nice and tight. So again, these are these phases of maintenance and the whole, especially your leg days. You know, your leg days they are gnarly at the end of the day. So I'm happy with that side of things. But I'm also going to actually give you a little bit of a push on your cycle. So we're just going to go up to 150 milligram of test and 500 milligrams of primo. But that's going to start from today. We're just going to run that for 3 weeks. Then we're going to start a pre-prep. So prep. Which is obviously just kind of reducing the inflammation, taking you down, coming off cycle for just a little tiny bit, just putting you on a TRT dose, as we do. And then obviously we will crack on from there. But overall, mate, I'm really fucking pleased. Really, really pleased. I think that you're in a fantastic spot. Pretty happy. You actually dropped weight after your off-plan meal, which is pretty decent. What was your off-plan this time? Can we also start taking in your rest? But other than that, all good. All good. No problems. Ticking the boxes. Being fucking phenomenal. Let's just carry on going. All right? Have a wonderful day. I'll speak to you soon. Bye.
Bye. Yeah, that was good. Just got to tighten up with me taking my measurements of blood pressure, blood glucose, and resting heart rate. Resting heart rate should be a piece of piss because it's on here. All I got to do is sit down and fucking do it. It's usually about 75, 72. Blood pressure as well is normally around sort of the 120 over 60 mark. Sometimes it's a bit lower. Sometimes it's like 115 over 66 or 50 something. I usually do 2 or 3 readings whenever I take it. I've just been getting a bit lazy with it recently. And then blood glucose is a new thing for me. I've never really taken that before with previous coaches. So something to keep track of, especially with all the carbs I'm eating. You know, you don't want your blood sugar going through the fucking roof because it is an indicator for diabetes. So we want to stay away from that. Hence why I'm taking metformin. Should help control the old blood glucose levels and keep them nice and solid. And then also taking telmisartan, so that is for blood pressure. But yes, a little bump in the cycle there. 150 test, 500 primo. So I'm currently on 100 test, 400 primo. So I'll probably just add an additional jab in the week. So we're doing 5 jabs a week rather than 4, because I don't like to do more than a mil in one go. I only ever do my glutes these days. Can't be asked with my shoulders or my quads, just because they make them super tight. In terms of sensitivity for the nip, the left one has been getting a little bit sensitive, but only when it gets fucking twatted. So by accident, other than that, I can't really feel it. So we're fine on that front, should be okay, but we'll just see what that little bump does. With the increase in primo as well, it should keep it level, but we'll just see, because my, as of late, My body does not like having oodles of test shoved in because it does aromatize a lot, hence the high level of premium. But yeah, that's the check-in. So all good, all happy. Really, really good shit, basically. So very, very good. Very, very nice. Very, very good. £1 fish. So yeah, next thing we'll be going to the gym. Okay, bye. Right, after much faff this morning, it's fucking 1 o'clock. It's time for the gym. Chest and arms. while we're here, however, because I do get asked about posing a fair amount and I am a little bit knowledgeable, may as well run through some things. So, start pretty basic. Start with all front shots. The first thing we think about in any pose is your feet. So, classic, obviously open, a lot of the guys will just stand straight on. That's great if you want to look fucking massive, but we want to look big and subliminal. So, normally, feet are just 90 degrees to each other, like that. Fine, cool, classic. Put your leading leg forward a little bit, and your non-leading leg back a little bit. And that means you can push into the non-leading leg and put a lot of weight through it, which gives you that illusion, the smaller waist, you're pushing your hips into the shot. It just makes it classic. More classic straight away. Oh, I feel like, you're not classic, you're just pushing hips into it. It helps. Every little helps. Have a vacuum helps. So, fuck them. Right. So, set the feet, front lat spread. Pretty fucking simple, but a lot of people just do this. We don't want to do that. It's chest up. Okay? Any back shot, chest up. We want to look as big as possible across the top line. So, legs on, and just bang. Elbows up. Chest up, head up. We don't want this. I don't want my chin on my chest. All up. Now, if you can vacuum at the same time, fantastic. So, and we're just going to try and hold that. The thing about posing is, you might be able to get into it. You're going to need to hold it for 10 seconds. And try and aim for that every single time you're doing it. It's also going to help in terms of feeling the pose. So if you just go, you can't really, you need to know if your legs are on, you need to feel they're on, you need to feel that chest firing, your lats coming up underneath, firing. We want to clear these spaces. Essentially with a shot, we don't want to see any daylight, we want to clear, we don't want to see anything in between the legs, we don't want to see anything here, make these as small as possible, but not to the point where you're like this, because that looks uncomfortable, it doesn't look good. We want to look in a comfortable position, but we also want to make posing look effortless. So, and you will rotate when you're on stage, face the judges. The judges are here, they're down below you, and there's usually a panel of 5, so you've got to, be able to show them everything, so we have to be able to twist a little bit when we're on stage. When we're hitting shots, just find a good side really. But that's a key element when it comes to actually posing. Next front shot, which would be an obvious one. So feet stay in this position. You've got them there. You can transition to loads of different shots from here. But let's go to the front row. So, that's how it looks, obviously with a vacuum. So, when we're going to do it, we want to think about opening out as much as possible. We see plenty of people hit a front double, and we'll just do this. Okay, that looks shit. That looks fucking terrible. So, we don't want, it's not a bicep shot, okay? If you just think about tensing your biceps, of course you're just going to do that, okay? It looks wank. We are trying to be as big as possible. We are filling the stage. We are thinking about lats. Most importantly, lats and elbows. The elbows come as far apart as they can. Okay? You're pushing those elbows out, which is going to bring your lats out. It's plain and simple. Spread yourself as much as possible. That's it. So feet first as always. Sit into those knees. Nice little bend. Push into them. Push the knees out. And just open. Everything's open out. Don't even think about your biceps. Okay? But when we do tense the bicep, we want the thumb in the hand, like this. Not like a punch, we don't want this. We want the thumb in, like it's a back punch, like you're gonna break your thumb when you do it. And that's gonna allow you to really show the peaks off. We don't want these hands in front of elbows, we want hands behind elbows. Same with every single shot like that where the arms are in the air, we want elbows forward, because that's gonna show the peaks off. Okay? Simple little run through there. Side chest. Okay, so the one thing, obviously you haven't got any glutes in order to do this, but you want to really switch that glute on, which it's not a pushing the hip forward like this. It's not that. It is literally just a flicker, okay? So the best thing I can do, what I like to do, is instead of coming directly 90 degrees, you want to go maybe 100 degrees. So a little bit further around, turn, it means you can get that hamstring out. What you want to do is push this leg into the inside leg, so you really push that hamstring through. And how to turn the glute on from here, see it's off, you just want to press, okay? And that just gets a little flicker in there. We don't want to try and make it as hard as possible, because then we won't get any hamstring. We just want a little flicker. Just a little bit of that. And then side chest, regardless of this one now, side chest, a lot of people murder it. They're trying to do this, to try and show off as much as they can in terms of this side of the body. I couldn't give a fuck about that. Look how Arnie does it. His chest looks huge. That's all we want to think about, is getting the chest out. And you want to feel like, you know when you have a t-shirt and you're like pretending you've got your heartbeat through it, and you're doing that? That's how you want to do it with your hands on the t-shirt and your chest is the fist. So you are just bringing in and pushing that chest up through the hole that you're creating with your hands. And you want the hands to come as low as possible. We aren't tensing the arm, that'll make it look smaller. Press it against you and just pull through. Pull through this hole you create with your hands. So hands together like that. This hand sits in the wrist. Pull in and just pull up. Push up with the chest. And stand tall. I don't see goblin poses like this. You crunch down trying to tense this pec. Like, who gives a fuck? I want to see the biggest man on stage. You want to be the biggest dude up there, okay? It's all about showing off size and presence. It's nothing to do with tense as hard as you fucking can. You will need to do that at some point, but maybe that's for the back shots, which we'll do now. So, back shot, obviously, you all know what the glutes on, so squeeze the butt together. Obviously, I don't want to show all the back ones. I will be later on anyway, but you know what, I get a strike glutes on it. So, first thing, 7 feet. So, stronger leg comes back for me. I have a better left hamstring than I do right, and I want to show it off. Not that I'm not going to show this one off, but it's more about balancing it, whichever you find preference. You're going to be pushing. Most of your weight's going to sit on this leg, and the rest of it's going to sit on this one, but you are going to be pushing forward onto this one, and we're going to push our knees outwards to show off as much quad as possible. Okay, so we don't want to be straight on, because if I come straight on, there's just nothing going on with my legs. Like, you can't see any quad. You can tense your hamstrings, you tense your glutes, but there's not much going on. We push outwards ever so slightly. If I turn onto my big toe with this here, turn my this leg, turn the foot slightly outwards, and I can push into those knees with balance. Instantly we get more quad. We get more leg. We look bigger through the lower body, and then we tense the glutes and the hamstrings. Pull up through there, and everything is switched on. Okay? Back lat spread. Come up. Pull down and pull. Pull down and pull those elbows as far apart as they'll go. I don't want to see this. This is not going to help. This is not showing off detail, okay? When you're on stage, you're going to be lean enough that you don't need to do this. You need to pull apart and out as far as you'll go and get those hands behind the elbow, show off the peak, lean back, okay? Lean back. We don't want to be upright. It might show differently in this lighting, but when we're on stage, you're going to have the judges down there again. So you need to show them, and the lighting will reflect down onto them, so you're going to be leaning backwards. So yeah, but in terms of how hard you want to tense for that one, this is whole body. This isn't just back. It is not just a back lat spread. This is set the legs, bang. Everything is switched on from there. Get your balance, and then hit the shot. Come in like that. So it's absolutely fucking everything, but you are pulling those elbows apart. Okay? Abs and thigh. It's quite simple. There's a number of ways you can hit it. Depends how you like to hit it. You know, being classic, you want a number of ways to hit it so you can transition between those shots on stage, especially if they haven't you posing for a long time. You're going to want to rearrange your breath. You want to disguise rearranging your breath. So the typical is leg forward, strongest leg forward, lean onto the weaker leg so you can still bring out some detail. Yeah? And if you need to, it also means you've got all your weight on this one, you can tense the fuck out of this one and lift the heel off the floor. Because ultimately it's a leg extension. This is why we do leg extensions, as well as kind of great legs. But it's going to show off that detail. If it's planted on the floor and all the weight's on it, but all the weight's on this leg, there's not much you can do here, you're stuck. Whereas, if we're on this back leg, we can lift this and bring out all this stuff up here. All this hip flexor and all this shit. That's what you're going to want to see. People that their quads stop here are going to lose to people that quads are up here unless they have ginormous quads. But the more detail you can show, the better. So, all the weight on the weaker leg, on the big and the back leg, squeeze through, pull that through, and then hands, bring them as far back as they'll go. We don't want them on the head like this because we're not going to get as big a tension. You're going to pull everything down and hide everything. So we want the hands out of the way as far as they'll go. Grab your neck if you can, like this, and then tense them out. And then you can move the leg around, show off a bit. There's also a number of other ways you can do this, especially in the classic sense. You know, hit the front hands you hit before, push those legs through. Same thing. And then we can go and get it back. There's also, you know, you can come over to the side like this. detail coming through there, like that sort of thing. Swap legs if you want. You know, mine's a bit smaller on the right, so I don't really do that, but you know, you can do that sort of thing. So it allows you to move when you're on stage. You've got to be tactical in how you learn your poses. It isn't just, and then wait for the next shot to be called. And then just, when you get into it, it's just lazy posing into it, you know? You've got to give it a bit of flair. There's got to be a bit of identity in your poses. They've got to have a reason to want to watch you. You've got to make them watch. This is, at the end of the day, you know, especially in your routine, it doesn't get scored, but it's meant to be scored. If they like the look of you, they like the look of you, you know? It's one of those, you've got to do your best to show that off. You can't just be a lazy bastard on stage because it's going to show. If you end up with some lads who can really pose and really hold the poses, particularly in those quarter turns and hold shit like this, keep the stomach in, and you can't do that, it's game over. It's game over. If you can't control this, especially in classic, and in open these days as well, it's game over. So posing is very fucking important. I'll do more segments about this and different shots and that sort of thing, but that's the basic classic elementaries. A little bit. Okay, we are home again. What time is it? Bloody Apple Watch. 4:45. It's quite late. I've only had one meal today. So you'd be like, well, how are you going to get 710 grams of carbs in the next couple of hours? Don't you worry about that. I'm going to show you. Right. I may have forgot to include that before I left for the gym, I had a single squares bar. Okay, so this is muesli. Right, 160 grams of this. You on. Faye 0% Greek yogurt, so no fat in it. It's just protein and carbs. 350 grams of this. Okay, just get rid of the extra bits. Give it a good mix. So this meal is going to end up being just over 1,000 calories. It's going to be very easy to eat. That's pretty much nice and thick. Okay, and then we want a square of this dark chocolate. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to break that up. That's all in there, lovely jubbly. And then we're going to go mix it through a little bit. Then we're going to go some more blueberries. 100 grams in there. 2 bananas because my carbs have been upped by 20 grams. So I'm just going to add it to this meal. And that is 200. There we go, boom. Perfect. Release the bid. Dish back, bosh. That's all done. There we go. Lovely jubbly. Yummy. That's about 1,000 calories right there. So I shall munch on that now. And I'll see you when we have another meal. Meal 3 and 4. I'm just going to put them together because it's a lot easier to do it that way. So we got one prepared frying pan covered in 1-cal spray. We got some turkey rashers. I'm going to use 2. We have got 2 eggs. And in the toaster is 2 bagels. Proper bagels, not bagel thins. And then we're also going to have 150 grams of honey Cheerios and a squares bar. And that is another piece of piss, like 1,000 to 1,200 calories. So this is going to go down really fucking easy and be genuinely a piece of piss to get. So what we're going to do is slap these on. Bonk. There's a lot of Cheerios. The dog will be.
nothing on the TV.
Nice, well done. It's Wednesday, there'll be nothing on the TV.
What?
It's a Wednesday, there'll be nothing on the TV.
Please do not let it go out.
Because otherwise we'll start smoking.
Smoking, and I think we'll have to keep it burning.
Right,
Don't shut it down.
so it doesn't get all smoky in it.
Yeah.
It is very easy to get this amount of food. I see people complaining all the time, like, how are you eating 4,000 calories a day? How are you not? I've eaten 5,500 calories a day before. That's a lot. Especially if you don't really know what you're doing in terms of foods that really digest well. And I was eating a lot of stuff that was the same because I was working at the time. Because I was doing a corporate job. So it was difficult to get food in. But it wasn't. So, yeah. People just don't know how to eat. Which is fair enough. Never had to do it before. And if they do, they think it's all chicken and rice. Chicken and rice is next. That's the only time of the day I eat it. It's got a lot of vegetables in it. Because you've got to have them veggies. Even in the off season. What do you mean? It went there.
Colorectal surgeon, more than 200,000 people across the UK.
Well, the first night I Ukraine, when I was about 15, I'd always struggled with food and eating.
Right. Yeah, I didn't exactly get much footage last night of last meal because it was quite late and my parents were watching TV and obviously TV's in the kitchen. So that was 70 grams of chicken, 70 grams of rice, a carrot, so 100 grams of carrot, a pack of baby sweet corn, which is 130 grams, half a pack of green beans, which is about 100 grams, and a red pepper. And then, yeah, put some chicken stock, turmeric, mild chili powder. I put too much mild chili powder on it. And then some salt and pepper. And that was it. That's how we do me chicken and rice. Also 50 grams of avocado on there for the fats. But I'm definitely in need of the Digest Max to come back because it's fucking magical shit. So, also causes you to have magical shits. Everything just stays very smooth, so it's all good. So I'm getting that order, should be coming through today from GYMBEAST. Before that last meal, I usually go for my steps in the dark, which I quite like doing. When I first started, I was like, bit cold. That's usually when I get a lot of like my inspiration for posing songs there. Just start listening to random shit. Sometimes I listen to a podcast, but that's a lot rarer. A lot of the time it's just music at the minute. So yeah, anyway, got off the point there. Today is a rest day, and it's also a Thursday, so it's one of my check-in days with clients, so I've just done all of those. But I need to go do a food shop. And then I've also got a massage in Chester at 2. It's 12 now. But yeah, that's me day. I'll see you when I see you. But I think this will probably be the closing out of this video so far. This will be the outro. So, you know, you want to say like fucking like, comment, share, subscribe, all that shit. But realistically, if you enjoyed the video, you'll do that. And if you didn't, you won't bother. And even if you did, you probably won't bother anyway. I know I don't. So if you want to follow along, follow along. But I'll be doing these. I just want to get it going to start like as a prep series. So yes. Anyway, have a good day, and I'll see you when I see you. Until next time, bye.